Hi, this is Andrew with Infinity Cutting Tools. Today we're taking a look at the Triton Track Saw. This is the perfect choice whether you're sizing large sheet goods like plywood and MDF, or you're doing a final sizing on those large glue-ups like tabletops or other large solid wood panels. Let's go ahead and take a closer look and I'll show you what makes this the perfect choice for your shop. The Triton Track Saw features comfortable handles, easy to reach and operate controls, and a 12 amp variable speed soft start motor, which makes the saw a real pleasure to use no matter what material you're cutting. Changing the 165mm blade in the saw is very easy as well. There is a position on the selector switch specifically for changing the blade, and it allows you to plunge and lock the saw at the correct position to access the arbor nut. The wrench for changing the blade is housed right here in the handle, and there's an onboard push button arbor lock that allows you to lock the arbor while you're making those blade changes. Some of the other features that really make the Triton stand out as a track saw, in my opinion, are that it has snuggers built into the base which allow you to make very precise adjustments to the interface between the saw and the tracks, so you get very accurate, smooth cuts. It has an anti-kickback cam built into the saw, so if you were to get kickback for some reason, the saw is going to lock down and hold and not be able to travel backward in the track itself. There's also a knob that allows you to lock the saw into the track. It still allows the saw to slide perfectly smoothly in the track, but you're not going to have to worry about the saw tipping out of the track. This is especially nice when you are cutting miters with the saw. This saw has dual trunnions which allow you to tilt the saw from 0 to 48 degrees and lock the saw very securely front and back, so you're going to have very strong and precise miter cuts. One of the last things that I wanted to point out is that this saw comes equipped with a dust collection port. This is perfect for hooking up to your dust collector or your shop vac, and it's going to allow you to make very accurate cuts and keep your shop clean at the same time. One of my favorite things about the Triton Track Saw is how easy it is to control my depth of cut for various thickness materials. This means I'm going to get very clean cuts. One of the first things I want to point out is that this saw has a scoring function, and it's very easy to access. We simply push the switch all the way down. This puts us into the scoring mode for the saw, and now the saw is set to make a perfect 3/16 inch deep scoring cut. Once I've made my scoring cut, I can access the full depth of cut mode, and I can control my depth of cut via the depth stop on the side of the saw. To set my saw, I simply loosen the knob, slide the stop up and down until I am set in the right location. The scale on the saw is an imperial measure, so we're working in inches and not metric, and now I know that my saw is going to be set to the perfect depth no matter what thickness of material I'm cutting, and I'm going to get the best possible finish to those cuts. The heart of any track saw is the track itself, and with the Triton you've got a couple of different choices. The first is what we call the track pack, and it consists of a pair of 27.5 inch long tracks and a pair of track connectors that allow you to connect these two pieces of track together. The second choice is our 59 inch long track. This is going to be a great choice when you have those extra long cuts that you need to make in your shop. If you need track that's even longer, you can get additional sets of track connectors and tracks and connect them all together to create tracks of really any length that you could possibly need. Each one of these tracks is made of anodized extruded aluminum and has a pair of slick strips on the surface that help the track saw glide very easily along the track, and there's a zero clearance strip on the edge of each piece of track that gets cut when you make that initial cut with the track saw and creates a perfect zero clearance for the saw blade. On the back of each track there are a pair of non-slip strips that help keep the track very securely in place while you position it and you make your cuts. If you need an extra level of security for those very precise cuts, we have sourced the best pair of clamps that we could find for the track saw, and these are going to be the perfect choice when you need that extra level of security. Whether you're breaking down sheet goods or sizing large glue-up panels to final size, the Triton Track Saw is going to make this job much simpler. If you don't have a track saw in your shop, I suggest you take a look at the Triton. It's going to help you gain accuracy, precision, and reduce tear out on these difficult and unwieldy cuts.